All right. Hello again, Avengers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is Daily Vlog 2025, number 154. And today, we got some Essence20 stuff to talk about. And I need a drink. All my drinks are on the floor, damn it. All right. Water. Alright, so, I made mention before that I would be getting a copy of the new Welcome to Night Vale tabletop RPG powered by the Essence20 system. And I've got it. And, let's call it interesting. I really don't know what I expected from it. By the way, still planning on doing an in-depth review of it. However, it is not currently available in any way, shape, or form, and won't be until I think like September. I was hoping that once we got the PDFs. That they might also release them to the public, because they do that, and there's still a good chance that they're going to do that. It's just not available now. So I'm thinking I'm going to sit on this at least for a few days, maybe maybe a week, because I've got that Daggerheart game that I'm running next week, and I have to do all this stuff for that. I do have it. I am planning on doing an in-depth review, but I figured I'd give you my kind of first thoughts after just kind of reading through it. Really simply. And yeah, like I said, I don't know what I was expecting. It wasn't this. If you look at the My Little Pony tabletop RPG, which is also powered by Essence20, it is definitely a different kind of RPG. I mean, if you watch my in-depth review on it, sorry, I'm just looking up before I say the exact wrong thing. But it's definitely designed in a different way. However, the roles and everything still follow similar structures to the stuff that we see in the other Essence20 games. They go from level 1 to 20. They have, a bunch of things that kind of differentiate each particular role. Like I could do an Essential Essence20 on each one of these and have a pretty decent meaty video to go through. And then in addition to that, you have all the other stuff that is built on the Essence20 system. The different origins and the different influences and how they'll kind of play with things, and then equipment and all that weird stuff. So with Welcome to Night Vale, first of all, none of the roles in there have anything past level 5. In fact, when you look at the kind of leveling up section where they talk about how you level up, it only goes to level 5. So the game itself, now it does have kind of quote-unquote rules for going beyond level 5, but they're basically, you just get some extra essence increases, and then you can take some more perks. And that's it. When you look at the threats, I think there's like 12 threats in the entire book. And as stretch goals, they added, I think, another like 12 or 14 threats, and then, I don't know, maybe a dozen or two NPC stat blocks. That, at the time of this recording, you have to download each individual threat as its own PDF, which is annoying as hell, and it makes it significantly more difficult to use any of these things in game, because as opposed to having like a book that you can kind of leaf through, you just have to go through file names and the things like that, and nothing is connected or anything. And yeah, the game itself, again, just a first look at it. I haven't delved super deep into it. It just feels small. And again, I get Welcome to Night Vale was never going to be the next G.I. Joe. Like that's not the purpose of, like, that's not what Welcome to Night Vale is. And that's not really what the game was designed around. But it still feels weird. Like, major aspects of the Essence20 system, like the equipment system, as far as I can tell, there are no requisition rolls or anything like that. You do have, if you try to buy stuff, you do have buying rolls. But they're not specifically like every other Essence20 thing. When you go out on the mission, you make your requisition rolls. There's no ability to upgrade your weapons or armor or anything like that, which is a kind of really important part of Essence20. You know, at least My Little Pony introduced a magic system to it to give you a little bit more use, and that fits with My Little Pony as well. So this one just feels kind of weird. Like, I can see what they were trying to do, and I kind of think this tabletop RPG for Welcome to Night Vale would have worked better in the Fate system than I think it does in the Essence20 system. Now, again, I'm going to be going significantly deeper. I'm going to be doing an actual in-depth review for it once I have a little bit more time, and it's very, very possible that I might have different opinions. When I did the in-depth review for the Fabula Ultima natural fantasy setting, the natural fantasy setting in and of itself felt really kind of small and underdeveloped as well in my first read through, because there just wasn't as much there. But as I looked over it more, and I went through the entire in-depth review process, I started realizing that the natural fantasy atlas was designed to be very kind of subtle. And because natural fantasy stories are designed to be subtle, the messages that they want you to get from them are not generally like yelled at you, unless we're talking about Princess Mononoke. But it made sense for the character to yell at people. I mean, they really want you to kind of experience the message and kind of learn it on your own, and it fit very, very well for the Natural Fantasy Atlas. It's very possible that the Welcome to Night Vale tabletop RPG, again, it's supposed to let you tell stories like Welcome to Night Vale, which is this kind of weird, almost absurdist, surrealist podcast that tells these kind of very weird, small stories. As far as my understanding of it is, again, I don't listen to it. Not that I don't think it's good. It's just I have a billion different things that my brain wants me to check out, and I never can remember any of them. My brain doesn't let me get into most things. So again, I think this is designed to help you tell smaller, more insular stories, and the world itself is what's supposed to be kind of fantastical, and do the weird things. The characters themselves are designed to be much more normal, and much more limited. You're not a bunch of superheroes running around the town of Night Vale. You are just regular people, visitors to the town. And And so there's significantly less that you can do with your character. Um, Again, I've got my issues with it. The thing, like, the core book is split into 3 different books, and I don't think it's a really good split. I would have preferred to see it as one complete book, because then it makes it easier to kind of understand the flow of it. I will say I'm very, very happy that for the player's handbook version of it, they introduced the rules on how to play the game before they gave you character options. So somebody over at Renegade is listening to me, and I sincerely appreciate that. So I do like that, but I just the choice to make 3 separate small books. Like, I don't think a single one of the books is more than 100 pages. It just feels weird to me from my own experiences with tabletop RPGs, and I guess that's what I can say for my very first impression of the Welcome to Night Vale TTRPG is it feels weird. It's definitely not like a traditional tabletop RPG in any sense of the word. Again, I am not exclusive to any particular TTRPG, and I have played a very, very wide range of TTRPGs, from, lasers and feelings hacks all the way up to GURPS and everything in between. I'm familiar with Fate. I like the idea of Fate. I've never had a chance to play it. I've done more kind of story-based games, so things like Powered by the Apocalypse and Rules Light stuff. I've done Rules Heavy stuff. I've messed around with RPGs that focused a little bit more on just creating interesting situations, as opposed to giving you like a big kind of chunky, crunchy tabletop RPG experience. And this one is weird even compared to anything else I've played. Like, My Little Pony was weird because it is very much designed to be a more social, role-playing focused game. And I'm not talking about something like the story. I'm talking actually the game is more about, the idea of friendship is magic. It's what the game is. It is a very social, like, your social encounters are going to be the big things that happen in the game. Yes, there will be combat encounters, but even those, you're not really trying to kill the enemy. You are trying to resolve a conflict, and sometimes those resolutions require a little bit more force. But at the end of a conflict, at the end of combat in My Little Pony, your opponents aren't dead. They've just stopped doing whatever it was that forced you into the conflict. So that is a very different game, but it still feels like a tabletop RPG. It just has kind of a hyperfixation on the social aspects of a tabletop RPG. And Welcome to Night Vale, as far as I can tell, just doesn't feel like that. It almost kind of gives me Call of Cthulhu vibes with how your characters, if you've ever played Call of Cthulhu, it's a hell of a game, first of all. But Call of Cthulhu, your character is not superhuman in any way, shape, or form. You are pretty mundane. And the goal of the game is to survive. And to understand the mystery that has been put in front of you. So there's a lot more role-playing in a Call of Cthulhu, and specifically there's a lot more kind of puzzles and esoteric stuff. And that's kind of what Welcome to Night Vale gives me a feeling for a little bit. It feels significantly closer to Call of Cthulhu than it does to anything else. But again, Call of Cthulhu is still a full tabletop RPG. Like, it's a weird, fucked up one, but it's still all there. And for whatever reason, Welcome to Night Vale just doesn't feel like that to me. Also, Call of Cthulhu is hella crunchy. It's a percentile dice system, and it the one time I played it, I had a lot of fun. But it's a weird game to play. It really, really is. And for some people, like, it is the best game ever. It's the #1 tabletop RPG in Japan, for numerous reasons. but yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I said, going to do a full in-depth review. I didn't really have anything to talk about today, which is why this is so late, because I was trying to come up with a good thing. The only other thing I thought about talking about for today was there was a post on the Daggerheart subreddit where people are starting to realize that the community game license for Daggerheart sounds really predatory. It's not really. I mean, I went through it line by line and read absolutely everything, and there's a couple things in there that give me a little bit of pause. But the thing about, and I think the FAQ itself is more, the frequently asked questions is more threatening than I think the actual document is. But something that I think a lot of people don't understand is just because a contract is written and you agree to it for however, whether you sign it, whether, it says by using this you agree to blah blah, just because you've agreed to a contract doesn't mean it'll hold up in court. There's lots of contracts that people sign that won't actually be enforceable. Things like what's it called? Perpetual contracts in general, where they just say, "Will you give us the perpetual rights, unrevocable rights to blah blah?" That's been ruled time and time again to be unenforceable. It doesn't mean that companies don't put those clauses into their contracts. It just means that if they ever try to sue you for breach of contract, as soon as it gets to court, the court's going to go, this is unenforceable, you lose. And it can, depending on how the contract's written, it can void the entire contract. So I think there's certain aspects of it that are, whether or not they could be enforceable is debatable. Like, one of the things they mention in the FAQ is basically, if you want to stream Daggerheart, you are only allowed to stream things that are in the SRD, which is basically the whole book minus most of the campaign frames. The only campaign frame in there is the Wildlands, or whatever, the one where nature gets pissed. So theoretically, if you wanted to run an Age of Umbra campaign, they claim in the FAQ you're not allowed to stream that. And I don't think, in my humble opinion, and I'm not a lawyer and I'm not, an expert on contract law or anything legalese, I don't think that that's in any way enforceable. I also don't think Critical Role or Darrington Press would try to enforce that, but the fact that they put it on the FAQ basically saying, yeah, you can't do this, is a weird flex. So, anyway, yeah, that's all I got for today. Interested to know what you guys think. Are there any other Welcome Night Vale backers out there? And did you have a similar experience to me when you looked at your PDF? If you've gotten it already. And as far as the whole Daggerheart thing, is anyone else kind of a little bit wary on the community license thing for their version of the OGL? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, again, it's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.